International Women's Day, celebrated annually on March 8, is a day that commemorates the social, political, and economic achievements of women. The theme for this year's Women's Day celebration is breaking the biases against women.
We have the bias to socio-economic empowerment. For instance, women have less access to income-generating activities or capital. For you to access capital from the bank, such as loan, you should have some guarantors, so such as land, such as some assets. But then women do not have such access to have land and big assets, and they still lack the access to such incomes or capital from the banks, and this is been a key bias to women's economic growth.
Youth Media Initiative South Sudan is on a journey to finding some of the women who are trying to break these biases. Betty Jojo is a mother to two, a single mother. The kind of job she does is rarely done by women from where she comes from and her community. In most cases, people don't encourage their women or girls to do such a job.
Kitana mpatani na ngutu jore memen denda dia kitana lalian. Lakin nan mponda angko morju meda kita bana ti dia na lalian na ngutu lo ata. Ya la gole senatin nan nko jubon ko mede amede na rahira ken bang rahin na mede ni na gole se gone senatin nan pondenya e kitana kapentana ngutu ko lo kujen ko nawate ko neta judi no be belengu ko do ko ina ngo benge ko bot tina ko etu benge site delivering ngo raising go na ngo ki benge kitchen na minditi ki be ko na yakula medadi anago lakin wala ko do tem to golon ban ngo one ling mindi do tem bayna ka.
For Betty, she is enjoying her work, but she says most often customers disturb, asking her why she's doing such a job.
Mutu jore sala customers ko konda ipirid ni ankiten na kujina mutu na nawan assessor jubule wala assessor ju do handa na kita ho nyati na ngona nyati nda do handa na kita na mtu wende dia mindinio asan kita banna ti dina na mutu na handa na mutu lwale ko do ngodi jore ko do minditi meddi kuning ni ti dana be example asan ngoji kankune ni pareng na kukujen yo kila kita jemeda de hina itaje natinyo ti mutu lwalian lakin kita banni na kang nati dina na mutu lwale ngowo ne ling good komoro ya bang tinda ho advice kango yo long bahan na kita jen kata jore kango ni sala kang ni ho pondai optitinda.
Betty is one of the women who have been praised. Her workmates most of the time support her and they work together. This man has worked with Betty, and he says Betty is very good in what she's doing.
Jojo, I call him as my daughter. No problem, Jojo has come to me around the streets. I welcome her. Now we are working together as a lady. He's a hard-working lady. Yeah, he loves the job. He is interested and he has a catch-up what we are doing as a lady. That's what I've seen. As a lady which are not dodging, but now Jojo is now putting more interest and has catch up. That's what I've seen with Jojo.
There are very many biases that women face in this country. Diana Nunu is the Executive Director for Young Positives, South Sudan. She explains to us some of the biases that she has witnessed in the country.
Yeah, some of the key biases we experience as women in South Sudan is the bias to access to information and the branding of some key information towards development in South Sudan. And one of it is access to health. A few women who live in communities do not have access to information on their health care, sexual reproductive health, and other information that is vital to them. We also have still the access to information on jobs. Many young women, they still lack the access to information to jobs, and that's why we have seen a lot of women and young girls are still unemployed because they do not have access to information. And then we have the bias to access to education also. In our communities, we have a preference between the male child and the young and the girl child. So many community members, many families prefer the boy child should have access to education, leaving alone the girl child. And as such, many young girls are forced to early child marriage, and many young girls are forced to forced marriages and early marriages. So these are some of the key biases in our communities. And then we have the bias to socio-economic empowerment. For instance, women have less access to income generating activities or capital. For you to access capital from the bank, such as loan, you should have some guarantors, so such as land, such as some assets. But then women do not have such access to have land and big assets, and they still lack the access to such incomes or capital from the banks, and this is been a key bias to women's economic growth. And then the other bias is in terms of raising up opinion in key decision-making tables. We have seen where women's opinions are not taken very serious, especially even if you go to parliament now or other arenas or platforms where both women and men engage. Our opinions are not taken seriously simply because people believe that women do not have to sit at the decision level, at the decision making table, and even our opinions do not make any sense, even if it is sensible. So these are some of the key biases that we experience as young women. And then the other thing is also the bias to women's leadership. We have seen majority of our women, we have seen majority of our leaders are male. As such, now we are fighting for the 35% affirmative action because there is a bias in allocation of position to women. So these are some of the biases that we experience as South Sudanese women, and today we are saying we are breaking the biases, and we also call upon men who are supporters of women to ensure that we both break the biases and ensure there is gender equality for all. Yeah.
There are very many biases against women in South Sudan. Today, many women will be hoping that these biases should stop in this International Women's Day celebration. Jumalu Sunday, Youth Media Initiative, South Sudan.